Hello, welcome back. So I'm going to go straight onto the mat. Obviously if you need a bit of centering time you can do one of the other videos which is a bit slower, a bit more mobilizing. Otherwise I'm just going to bring you to a standing position on your mat. So just take a minute, if you've just come to your mat, if there's been a bit of a bigger gap, just take a minute to drop down into the body, down into the feet, into the breath. So notice again the breath coming down into the feet, down into the floor. Notice how you feel as you're just standing with your breath. You can hold your hands into your hips. This is a really good grounding technique. If we feel a little bit swirly with our energy, it's not very grounded, not very present, just hold your hands into your hips and allow this energy just to settle. The powerhouse being the pelvis. So just letting this energy now bring you into the present, into your physicality. Lovely. And let's just circle a little bit into the ankles and just find a little bit of freedom into the ankles. With standing work, obviously we want the ankles to be free, the energy to run up and down. It needs to be free in its movement. So you can just pedal out the feet a little bit, rising up onto the ball of the foot, so you can rise up and down, roll onto the back of the heel. Just finding that little bit of movement, but rolling around the ball of the foot, the whole of the foot, just gives you a little bit of awareness. Your proprioceptors wake up into the feet, so ask where we are in space and time, how we're standing, how we're using our body. My wrists need a little bit of a freeing up as well, so just give a little bit of circling onto the wrist. Open and close the hands, so just give those a little bit of energy too. Good, lovely. And then just sit yourself back into a chair position. So feet can be parallel or they can be together. Big toe mounds joined together if you've got them together. Quite helpful to have it into quite a closed position, because the knees can connect and give you a little bit of a squeeze. Whereas in a parallel position we still need to squeeze, but you don't get that physical sensation. So if you want to just bring the knees together slightly, heels are apart, big toe mound comes together. Hands can sit in the prayer position, which gives you a little bit of dynamic push in the upper body. Engage into the core. Notice how we're holding our energy. Are we gripping a little bit? So heels down, weight back into the heel. And if you're able to, the arms can extend up, or you can keep them in the prayer position, or you can just extend them forward. Just be careful. Any neck issues, shoulder issues. And take just a few breaths here. Waking up the thighs and the glutes and the core, a little bit into the belly here. Lovely. And then we're just going to bring that into a twisted chair. So bring the opposite elbow into the knee. You can gently push into the palms, gives you a little bit of resistance. And very gently just push. Take the breath and notice. Bring it back. If you need a little break, if you need to come in and out of it, just take it into a forward fold and just bend and straighten the legs a little bit. Otherwise into the chair again. Lovely. And then we'll take that into the twisty chair. Again, push into the palms. So that little bit of rotation. Weight back onto the heels. And bring that back into the chair, into forward fold. Just let this hang for a moment. Let the thighs have a little breather. If you need to just adjust anything, just a little bit of a wobble. And just allow this some time to let go. Deep belly breathing. Notice where you're holding the tension. For me, it's often the jaw. Back of the neck. And And just taking the feet parallel, drop the hips down into a Hindi squat. And if your knees don't like it, just sit your bottom onto the floor. It's absolutely fine to take it into a lesser dynamic posture. And this can be cosmic egg too. You can just gently hug into the knees. And just find that little bit of release, if that's what you need. Hindi squat can be wide or closed. And very slowly bring the hips back up. And slowly bring it all the way standing. Take extended mountain, so arms overhead. And just bring the hands to settle back. Heart center or hands on hips if you need to ground back down into the hips. Just bring the hands to rest at the hips. And just let these energies settle. Just allowing a moment. And we can power out all the postures if we want to, but to benefit the nervous system, central nervous system, we're better off taking these moments of rest in between each posture. So let's take a little tree position. So I'm bringing up my right foot. Just gently turn it out. Notice what happens to the hips. Carefully, we don't push across to the hip. Foot can rest down. So if your balance isn't very good, or you can use a chair to hold on to, only piece of furniture as long as it's stable. And if you feel ready, just start to bring the foot underneath the knee, or if you want to go a little higher, above the knee. So your foot's not pushing across your knee, it's pushing into the soft flesh, not the joint. And just take a moment with your tree. Hands can stay at prayer position or at the hips. Hips gives you a lot of information about what's happening in the pelvis. You need to just hold a little bit stability. Let the ankle have this little wobble. This is fine. This is just adjusting. Your proprioceptors switching on and letting your balance be adjusted. If you're able to, you can take the arms overhead. Don't worry if that's not for you today. Close your eyes too, if you want to try that challenge. It made me wobble. The thought of that made me wobble. And just bring the knee forwards. Take hold of the knee. Oopsie, a little bit of a wobble there. Take hold of the knee and very gently rotate your body. Twist your body to the side. And you can extend your arm behind you. Let me just show you side view. And get my balance again. You can extend the arm behind you. If you want to, you can extend the leg forwards too. Oop, and have a little wobble. Sorry guys. I've got a lot of distractions in this room. I've got too much artwork to look at. And just take a moment in the breath. Ooh, I'm a bit too wobbly with that leg extended. And then just release that. Take hold of the knee. Your movements might be a bit wobbly and it's fine. If you want to hold your chair, the furniture, take hold of the bottom of your foot and start to extend the leg. Oh, I'm so wobbly, I'm sorry guys. You can hold here, this is fine. Or that extension. Come back to the breath. And then slowly drop that down. Rotate the opposite ankle. That might need a little bit of release. A little bit of work on that. And then just settle down into your mountain. If you want extended mountain, arms overhead. Hands of prayer. or hands at the hip. Just let this settle. Notice the difference. The leg you've been standing on, the energy that's running now through that leg and that hip, the ankle, will feel different to the leg that we lifted. Let's come back to the breath. Let's just take that into a forward fold. So that breathe. And slowly bring that all the way back up to your standing. Extended mountain all the way up. So let these energies come back down into you. Heart center or pelvis, whichever you choose. And that's a bit sticky. Just ground this through the feet. If you need to adjust anything, if you need to release anything, you just give it a little bit of movement. If the hips feel a bit wobbly, the hands, anything that needs releasing, just give it a little bit of a movement. Then we're going to take the tree to the other side. So this is my left leg. This mat doesn't work on this carpet. Just find that rotation out. Be careful that your hips haven't followed you. It is coming from the ball and socket joint rather than the pelvis. Foot can be on the floor for balance. You can use a chair. You can bring the foot underneath the knee or all the way above the knee. Careful the hips don't shoot out to the side as well. Just find your tree. Notice how this feels for you on this side. Hands can rest at the hips to help you stabilize, or heart center, or arms above. Open or closed, doesn't matter. You want to bring the energy down, you keep them open. If you want to keep the circuit going, you keep them in the prayer position above your head. You can't see mine. Just allow this to breathe. Let the ankle do its little bit of wobbling. Lovely. And just bring those hands back down. If you need to restabilize, if you need to bring it back. And then just bring that knee forwards. Just going to turn around sideways for you. Just lift up. Oh dear, this mat. Lift up the opposite knee with the opposite hand and gently take your rotation. So turning through. If you want to extend the leg, extend the leg. If you want to look behind, you should be able to see the thumb in your peripheral vision. Just follow the breath. And now the ankle, it's time to move. It doesn't need to follow the movement all the way up the body. Just isolate it down to the ankle. And then bring that forward. Just take hold of the knee. And just gently drop forward. If you can hold underneath the foot and extend the leg. Just get a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Oopsie. Sorry. Elbow wobbly. I don't think we're grounded today. And then gently drop that foot down. Circle the opposite ankle. Excuse me, give that a little bit of movement into some freedom. Let it ground. Just bring this down to both feet. Hands on hips if you need to. Notice where you're gripping. I would ask my class if I did everything on both sides, but I can't ask you today. I have to rely on myself. Take a deep inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Bring that all the way down. Just let that settle. Take the feet slightly wider, allow the hips to drop into hip D or drop down into your cosmic egg, so if you want to drop your bottom into the floor. Feet can be parallel, facing forward or turned out, but just make sure the knee follows the line of your feet. I'm going to take mine into a wider Hindi squat. Allow my hips to open up a little bit. Instead, just breathe. Just drop your hip onto the floor, hips on the bottom floor. Hug. It's a little bit of circle into the feet, little flippy flop feet. Point and flex. Gently bring that back up. Push yourself through. You don't have to be able to stand up without aid. And gently forward fold. And slowly bring that all the way to standing. Roll around the ankles a little bit. If there's a little bit of movement as they need it. Now let's take hold of the right foot behind you this time. Check where your pelvis is, so check that you've not hitched it up to one side. You've got to push your hips out to the side. Very gently push the knee down to the floor. Now you can either stay here for your quad stretch, you can hold a chair again, or any piece of furniture, or we start to just extend and kick that back into a dancing pose. Let that breathe. And just let that foot drop behind you and bring that into a warrior one position. Just allow that to open up. Front of the body, check your hips are facing forwards. Heel can be high lunge. You can have the heel off if your heel doesn't ground. And just step back forwards. Let it settle. Energy will be, your heart rate will have increased. Larger movements, and we'll do the other side. Pick up the left foot, or if you did the left foot to the right. Push the knee down, going ground to the hips. Push the knee down, and allow it to start moving back if it's happy to. Then kick back into the foot, and extend the arm if that is able, if you're able to, if it's comfortable. Just follow the breath. And then allow that foot just to drop behind you for warrior one. If you didn't have enough space, just step the other foot forwards. And bring that into a breath with warrior one. Notice how this is energetically being applied. Shoulders relax, chin relax. And then gently step that forwards. Just bring this back into grounding, centering. Just follow the breath. Hands can rest on the hips if you need them to. Just allowing these energies to really center readjust anything that needs to readjust. Inhale, top of the mountain. Exhale, tip it forward, fold. Just allow this now. Last time, forward fold, third one. And hands can rest wherever you feel able, behind the heel, big toe, underneath the foot, behind you. Just release that, drop the hips back, drop the bottom onto the floor again, just hug your knees, circle the feet, point and flex the feet, and just let the thighs relax in your clasp. Take a minute to either lie down or sit. Allow these energies now just to settle again. Let's take a few moments in a Shavasana or a resting position. Can be child pose, seated or lying. Just come back to the breath, tip of the nose down to the belly. And you spend as long as you need to in your finishing posture. And just allow those energies to really settle and bring you back to the parasympathetic nervous system. And just bring yourself back when you feel ready. When you're able to. Just a little bit of strength work, standing work, grounding work for you today. And I hope to see you again soon. I'll share some more with you when I can. Take care, everybody. Stay safe out there.